Look at the screen. It's bleeding. XRP is at $2.03. And right now, the amateurs are staring at a 4-day downtrend, feeling the cold breath of a bull trap on their necks. They're checking their charts every 5 minutes, refreshing their apps, waiting for a miracle to save their small-time portfolios. But while they're staring at the price, they're missing the infrastructure. They're missing the fact that on January 9th, 2026, just hours ago, the game fundamentally changed in London. They're missing the $15 billion wall of capital that just slammed into American shores. And they're certainly missing the political stimulus that is about to flood the American pocket. You see, in the maybe era, we feared red candles. In the clarity era, we understand that a red Saturday is just a strategic pit stop for the institutional machine to refuel. I am the quiet analyst, BHW. Today, we stop talking about moonshots and we start talking about financial plumbing. If you think you missed the boat because Bitcoin didn't cross over, you're reading the wrong map. The giants are moving. The maybe is finally dead. Let's deconstruct the red Saturday psychological warfare happening on your screen. XRP is sitting at $2.03. To the emotional trader, this feels like a rug pull. But you aren't an emotional trader. You are an analyst of the macro machine. The catalyst for this pullback wasn't a failure. It was the U.S. jobs report released on Friday, January 9th. The data came in and created a paradox. Unemployment dropped to 4.4% when the market expected 4.5%. In a normal world, people working is good news. In the world of the Federal Reserve, it's a problem. A strong labor market gives the Fed an excuse to keep interest rates high. It keeps the easy money locked in the vault for a few more months. This news was cold water on a burning fire. Look at the Bitcoin spot ETFs. $250 million in net outflows over the last 4 days. The institutions aren't selling because they've lost faith. They're rebalancing because the Fed's path just got cloudy. But look at the signal in the noise. While Bitcoin and Ethereum are struggling, XRP was the only asset showing velocity earlier this month. Why? Because XRP is decoupling from crypto sentiment and moving into utility settlement. The junk is being flushed out. The short-term hands are being shaken. But while retail is crying about a 3% gain, the giants are trading the red trend to prepare for the 2026 implementation. While the world is distracted, staring at red candles, Brad Garlinghouse was hitting send on a message that redefines everything we know about 2026. Brad didn't talk about price. He didn't talk about speculation. He talked about the heartbeat of the machine. In his quarterly update, he described 2025 as a foundational success. But Ripple is no longer just a crypto company. It's transforming into the prime contractor for global financial plumbing. Through acquisitions like Ripple Prime and G Treasury, they have expanded their ability to move the Internet of value on a scale never seen before. The real bombshell? January 9th, 2026, Ripple officially secured the UK EMI, Electronic Money Institution, license. This isn't just a legal document. It's a passport. It allows Ripple to operate inside London, the world's most critical financial hub, not as an exchange, but as a licensed, compliant infrastructure. This is why their directors are saying the energy is hard to describe. They aren't building for the hype cycles. They're building for the central banks. Is Ripple alone in this arena? No. America is feeling the geopolitical heat, and it's pouring billions into protecting its financial throne. On January 9th, Andreessen Horowitz, A16Z, announced they secured $15 billion in fresh capital. This is the largest fundraising haul in their history, and it has one specific mission: American dynamism. Why now? Because they know what Washington finally realized. The next century isn't one with oil. It's one with the infrastructure of value. If the U.S. falls behind China in blockchain-native systems, they lose the ability to project power globally. This $15 billion isn't going into meme coin speculation. It's going into the plumbing. It's going into the companies that move nuclear energy, logistics, and global settlement into the blockchain era. This is where the XRP ledger and Ripple come into focus. American capital is no longer chasing hype. They're chasing interoperability. They are building a digital fortress. XRP isn't just a token in this war. It's a strategic infrastructure asset. While the Fed plays a slow game with rates, President Trump just flipped a different switch. On Friday night, January 9th, the president issued a directive that sent shockwaves through the banking sector, a 10% cap on credit card interest rates for the next year. As investors, we don't care about the politics. We care about the liquidity effect. Think about the math. When you cap interest rates at 10%, down from 30%, you are freeing up massive discretionary capital. For the first time in years, the average American household will have extra cash that isn't being swallowed by bank fees. Where does that money go? It goes into high-risk, high-reward assets. It goes into the markets people see in the headlines. It goes into XRP, Ethereum, and Bitcoin. This is the midterm stimulus that nobody is pricing in. Trump is trying to recreate the 2020 cheap money environment, but this time with a regulatory framework already in place. This is a hyper-liquidity event. The price of XRP at 2.03 is a distraction. The vial of fuel is being filled right now. Now let's talk about the math that keeps the quiet analyst awake. While retail is arguing over cents, Standard Chartered is holding firm on an 8.00 price target for year-end 2026. This isn't a guess. It's a calculation based on the liquidity gap. As of this week, XRP balances on centralized exchanges have plummeted to a 7-year low, 1.6 billion tokens. Meanwhile, spot XRP ETFs have seen $1.37 billion in inflows, with zero net outflow days since launch. We are approaching a structural supply squeeze. When the 90% of global transactions moving to ISO 2022 standards by early 2026 hit the ledger, they won't find enough liquidity at 2.00 to move trillions of dollars. The system requires a higher price to maintain efficiency. You cannot move a $10 billion oil contract through a 2.00 asset without 50% slippage. To the institutions, a higher price for XRP isn't a gain. It's a requirement for the plumbing to function. We started this briefing looking at a red screen and XRP at $2.03. Many saw failure. I see a Ripple that is no longer testing, but executing. I see $15 billion of American capital standing guard. I see a political shift that is about to unlock a tsunami of liquidity. The road to the Internet of Value was never a straight line. It was a filter designed to remove the weak, the impatient, and the noisy. If you're here for the quick thrill, enjoy the ride. But if you're here to witness the greatest financial migration in human history, then stay calm. The maybe is dead. The stone rules are here. Don't let a 4-day red candle blind you to a 10-year structural shift. I appreciate you joining me in the war room. Smash that like button. Let's hit 1,000 likes together. I am the Quiet Analyst, BHW. Stay sharp, stay patient, and as always, stay quiet.